And on this evening's editorial, we're joined by a broadcaster and host of the blog site, Trute, Vernon Darby, who will share his thoughts on possible solutions to crime. Good evening, Mr. Darby, and welcome.
Good evening, Michelle and Basil. How are you doing?
Doing rather well.
Good, thank you.
The floor is yours, please. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening to the viewers and listeners across Jamaica and the world. Now, after independence in 1962, the crime rate in Jamaica was at a level which we could tolerate. I remember quite well the first murder and suicide which happened in southern Trelawney, when a man murdered his lover. He gave her 21 stabs and then committed suicide. Persons living 10 or more miles away descended on Glastonbury to find out about the judgment that was taking place in that area. Rural Jamaica was in shock. Those were the days when the only crimes committed were committed by Brook Kitchen. Brook Kitchen had a habit of going into people's kitchen and thief them food off the fire and yam it out. Yes, Brook Kitchen, otherwise known as mongrel dog. Even political violence then was about throwing a few stones, although I gather that things were getting hot in the city of Kingston. Now, I believe that it was at the turn of the 1970s that the level of crime started to escalate significantly. Things have continued with us having various police squads, gun courts, state of emergencies. You had the Suppression of Crimes Act and other initiatives. But yet, the murders are getting more and more gruesome, and more persons have gone missing. I'd like, for the purpose of this presentation, to put the various crimes into different categories. Level one, petty crimes. Littering, for example, night noise, disagreement between persons which might result in assault, harassment, and petty theft. Level two, wounding, damage to persons resulting in loss of limb and or damage leading to physical or probably mental disability. Level three, murder, sexual assault, kidnapping, and similar offenses. Level four, the use of high-powered weapons and working in an organized group to rain terror on persons, forming gangs with the intent to disrupt the orderly functioning of the society. Corruption also, I put in that category. Any act which brings government into disrepute, especially as it relates to fraud and the misappropriation of funds and the abuse of power, using one's political or state position to gain benefits for oneself or connected persons. Where do we start? First, we need to fix the system. We have a system which makes it easier for an evil person, a corrupt person, to do well, while the honest person has to struggle to survive. We need to start with the type of leaders that we have leading us. Those who we cannot trust need to pack their bags and go. The Prime Minister knows. The leader of the opposition knows. And I know that there are a few persons in leadership positions who need to pack their bags and go. Jamaicans are aware of persons in leadership positions who we do not trust. Some of the cards that you have, there's no need shuffling them. We need new cards for the new year, Mr. PM. The family, that's the next place we need to look at. The family is a basic social unit of the society. If we have dysfunctional families, then you will end up with a dysfunctional society. Our leaders need to put systems in place to ensure that we build strong families with values where children grow up to love and respect others. We have a problem with missing parents, children having children, and parents who themselves, they need guidance also. Let's look at the school system. The school system should be the place where we reinforce good values which were taught in the home. Taxpayers are paying for the children's education, and all students must be held accountable for their level of performance. Students must attend school on time, do their work, and abide by the school rules. To support this system, there's a need for a national merit and demerit system implemented in all schools. It seems to me that our schools are becoming breeding grounds for criminals. How to treat each category? Our judicial system takes forever to process matters. We need to have community courts presided over by possible 3 JPs to deal with community issues such as family disputes and disputes in communities generally. Persons who cannot afford to get a lawyer or to get justice in the regular judicial system could go to a community court. When persons are found guilty of an offense at this level, then they could be issued with a ticket which they would pay for. The next level, we need to reduce the number of persons who are incarcerated and make them do community work, pay fines or suffer the loss of property or lose certain privileges. Those who are convicted should be fitted with tracking devices so they would have to remain in their homes for an extended period or in their communities. We should only lock up persons for certain crimes if they pose a danger to the society. Why should the society pay for locking up persons and feed and clothe them? That doesn't make sense to me. Now, level 3 offenses. This is where we really need to get tough on criminals. For murderers, my readers on Back the Truth say, bring back the death penalty. Gang members who are involved in gun crimes should definitely get hard labor for life. At this level, fear must be driven into the hearts of those who consider doing certain crimes. Now, at the highest level, corruption. Now, corruption is the breeder of all crimes. At this level, any public official who commits any act which is a breach of the public trust, this official should end up getting a life sentence. Breach of the public trust could mean using your political position to abuse anyone, to gain unfair benefit for yourself or connected parties, or using such political position to get any public official to carry out any act which is illegal or improper. Now, in closing, I'd say corruption breeds crime. Corruption at the root of the tree destroys the whole root. Deal with the root and you can save the tree. It is said that when fish are rotten, the fish head start to sting first. The doctor could end up giving you a cough medicine to treat the cough when the cancer has taken roots in your lungs. We need a compulsory national identification system, and we need to register every single person from birth into that system. We must have their biometric information. Persons talk about invasion of privacy. Well, crime loves privacy, and that is why we have the informer for dead culture. Now is the time we are able to record every police report electronically. Time to have a system where we give 3 chances and then you are out. Time we categorize some of our gangsters as local terrorists and treat them as such. Time that decent citizens will be given the right to protect themselves by giving persons the right to have things like pepper spray and also to have licensed firearms. Time to have the pictures of wanted men and cards, which should be distributed nationally so citizens can know them. Time for us to have online pictures of all persons who are wanted for crimes. Time for us to take this small country, run it in the way we ought to run it so that criminals live in fear and not decent citizens. Time to mobilize the whole country to fight crime and to fight criminals. If we do not do what we need to do in a decisive way to deal with this monster called crime, then it would be a waste of time for me to say to you, Happy New Year. I assume that citizens of this country will stand up and say with one voice that in 2022 we cannot go on like this. Our leaders will heed the call and we will act decisively. If I know that will happen, then I can say Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you very much, sir. Very much well thought out, and we definitely appreciate your perspective on the situation.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Our pleasure.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you and Happy New Year.